I'll just go ahead and stand up, because that's, for me, it's a little more comfortable. First of all, especially with the guy that's still not here, I think that's going to be a thing, the guy that was here but is not here anymore. Is there anyone who's really particularly looking for fame on YouTube in this room? Oh, apart from Stefan. Okay. Because my talk was not particularly focused on getting famous. Because, to be honest, that's not what I ever wanted from YouTube. So my story starts about, basically 6 years ago. I was on YouTube and I actually uploaded a few videos of one of my teachers doing a weird dance. It's still on private, it's still somewhere though. But I ended up watching some videos. I read the Twilight books. Well, if you're 17 years old and you have a lot of time on your hands, you end up reading the Twilight books. So I looked up on YouTube and I found this Dutch girl called Sanne, and she did videos. She did an audition video for Team Twilighter, which was a collab channel based on Twilight, obviously. So she made that channel. This was back in 2008, where 5 other people did daily vlogs about Twilight-related stuff, and I was like, yes, something exciting! And the movies were supposed to come out that year, and that was really nice at the time. So at some point, Sanne mentioned the Vlog brothers, Hank and John Green. Anyone who doesn't know who they are? They're kind of famous. Well, you can call them famous, with apparently more than 1 million people knowing who they are. So I started watching them, and I started participating in the community that was building at the time. This was 2008, and they used to do live shows from time to time, so I would just go ahead and participate in chats. And there was this girl, Lidewij, who started talking to me. She was like, oh, you're from the Netherlands as well? Oh, that's really cool. Do you know there's a gathering coming up at the end of 2008? So I was like, oh, that's so cool. People on the internet, you can meet them in real life and touch them and say hi and hug, you know? That's really weird for someone who's been on the internet for some time. So I went to that gathering, and there were maybe 10 people, 6 girls, me, and a guy, and we ended up having pizza. And apparently this is something I heard later. I was the one who suggested we should make a collaboration channel. I do not recall this, but someone told me afterwards. So we started Best Wishes from an L, and that was because we all watched the Vlog brothers, and John Green used to say best wishes at the end of letters or videos, so we were actually considering hookers in wooden shoes and windmills and very Dutch stuff. So we created Best Wishes from an L, and that was the start of a very great friendship for all of us. There was 7 girls making a video every day, and this thing blew up in our faces. We ended up being partnered. Well, I think we had 600 subscribers at the time. We got partnered. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. This was not what I anticipated when I started this thing with a couple of people I rarely knew. So we ended up creating really funny, in hindsight, not so really funny stuff. And we created a friendship that was, to me, is still very dear. And that's why I wanted to give this talk for you guys to get to know more about audience interaction, because audience interaction is when someone leaves a comment on your video. And, well, I don't know, shout out an average number of comments you get on your video. Anyone, 5, 10, 20? So, Amanda, how many comments do you reply to?
As many as I can, as many as Google let me.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about Google Plus now. That's something completely different. Let's imagine we're still on the old way of commenting.
I would say since I'm really small still as a vlogger, I'm small in, well, depending on what you compare it to, but I have the time to answer about 20 comments, not that much. It's when it comes up to 100 or more that it's a bit tricky, I think.
Yeah.
Replying to 100 comments takes a lot of time and effort, but always remember what comes out of this stuff. So, like Martin said, I got to know him about 4 years ago, and yeah, about 4 years ago, when we were doing Best Wishes from NL, and he ended up going to visit Anke and Jonneke, and I think Liedewij as well, not really sure.
Yeah.
And Diana, who actually didn't participate in Best Wishes, but was actually wanted to go to the first gathering, but couldn't make it. And I started following Martin on Twitter, because, well, he replied to like a gazillion Best Wishes videos. So I was like, hey, I know this username, and you kind of get an idea who that person behind that comment is, because they make YouTube videos, and you start seeing their username, and that's something, it's different than Twitter, because you choose who you follow. And you can see someone completely new commenting on your YouTube video, and as soon as you start interaction, it can lead to so much more than just, hey, well, nice video, well, cool, thanks bro. It ends up, for me, it ends up leading standing here 4 years later, talking to you guys about the opportunities you have when you invest a little time in talking to your audience. You can like see this from a very business perspective of building your community by replying to them on YouTube. But don't keep it just to YouTube. The moment it started rolling for me is when I started following Martin on Twitter, because I saw him even more often than I saw him on YouTube. And I think YouTube is a great starting point for audience interaction, but when you start to get to know someone through YouTube, through seeing their face, and seeing them even more on Twitter and on Facebook, it's a lot different than just seeing them on YouTube. And I hope for you guys, I really hope for all you guys that in 3, 2, 1, 5 years, that you have similar or even better experiences than I have had for the last years by making awesome new friends and traveling to Sweden. Before last year, I'd never been to Sweden. I'd never thought about going to Sweden. Last year was really cold. Glad it's not snowing right now. But I hadn't even thought about going to Sweden, but making new friends, social media is giving you this opportunity to contact people you don't know, but you've seen on the internet. And everyone's like, oh, the internet's scary, could be a 50-year-old man, or something like that. But also look at it from the bright side. There's so much to gain for every single one of you. There's so many friendships to make, and so many awesome opportunities to take, and collaborations, for instance, that could totally blow up in your face, just saying. So you guys totally find someone that you want to collaborate with, and make something really cool, and keep in touch with that person, because you never know how that person's going to change your life in 6 months, a year, 2 years. And, well, side note, one of my Best Wishes friends, I don't know whether you know her, she lives in London now, Sanne, Books and Quills.
Oh, yes.
Anyone heard of her?
Yes, she's really nice.
So she was one of the Best Wishes girls, and she ended up doing what she loved, collaborating with others, talking about her books. She talked about books. And she ended up in London living with, for instance, Kaylee Hyde, I'll say Hoot, Rosianna, Marion. She ends up going to parties with Charlie McDonnell just by doing what she loves. And the one message I would like to give to you today is just do what you love on YouTube, if you want to do it on YouTube, and connect with everyone that, even though it's just responding to a comment, connect with the ones you feel like are the ones for you. Because you could end up in Sweden, in Malmö, on a stage like this, or somewhere completely different. And I would love to have, for you guys, to have similar experiences like I had. And I wish you guys all the best doing that. And Thank you, guys.